Welcome to the Deep Dive. Today we're plunging into, a really fascinating way of looking at a core theological idea, the relationship between the Father and the Son. Many of you probably think about this through, familiar frameworks.
Sure, the standard interpretations.
Exactly.
Yeah.
But today we're exploring a different lens, what's called the Hebraic functional model of agency.
Right.
It's not about throwing out everything else, but about adding a powerful, historically grounded way to see things. Okay, let's unpack this.
Yeah, and what's really key here is the shaliach model. It frames the Father as the ultimate principle, the sole sovereign YHWH,
Right.
and the Son. He's the supreme, perfectly authorized agent.
So not co-equal in the ontological sense some might expect.
Well, it's a different focus. It emphasizes a principal-agent structure. Think about ancient Jewish law. The shaliach, the agent, carried the full authority of the sender.
Okay, like an ambassador today almost.
Yeah.
Exactly. To reject the agent was, legally, to reject the sender. Their actions were binding as if the principle did them. It shows this deep unity of purpose. We see this in Scripture, and interestingly, also reflected in texts like the Book of Enoch from the Second Temple period.
That's a really helpful distinction. But, I can hear people thinking, where's the scriptural basis for this singular supreme authority? How does that square with other views?
That's a fair question. The foundation is really clear in the canonical texts. They consistently establish YHWH's absolute sovereignty. He's the sole source of judgment, the sole covenant maker.
Any specific examples jump out?
Well, look at Numbers 33.4. It explicitly says, "On their gods hath Jehovah done judgments." It shows YHWH's authority isn't just over Israel, it's over everything, even other supposed gods. He's the ultimate principle, period.
Okay, so YHWH is the singular source, the principle. How does that power then get expressed? How does he act without sort of diminishing that singularity?
That's exactly where the shaliach principle comes in, appointed representation. The agent embodies the principle's authority.
Like your ambassador analogy.
Precisely. The envoy doesn't become the president, but speaks with the president's full authority. Jesus puts it so clearly. John 12.44-45. He who believes in me believes not in me, but in him who sent me.
Right. The focus is on the sender.
And even more powerfully, John 14.9-10. He who hath seen me hath seen the Father. It's because the Son acts so perfectly as the Father's agent, representing his will and character.
Okay, that makes sense within the agency model. So let's connect this. What about Jesus' preferred title, the Son of Man? How does that fit? It sounds quite human.
Yeah. Here's where it gets really interesting, especially with that historical context.
You mentioned the Book of Enoch earlier.
Exactly. That title, Son of Man, has incredibly deep roots in Enoch, which was, massively influential in Second Temple Judaism. People read it, they knew it.
Right.
Enoch lays out this picture with two main figures, the head of days, who is clearly the Father, YHWH.
Right.
And then there's this Son of Man, a pre-existent figure chosen before creation, who is giving universal authority, especially for judgment.
Pre-existent. Wow.
Yes. So when Jesus uses that title, he's not just saying, I'm human. He's stepping into that specific prophesied agency role described in Enoch. He's claiming the authority of that Son of Man.
That adds a whole different layer. Okay, but what about the verses people often point to, the big proof texts for more traditional views?
Like John 1.1.
Yeah, exactly. The Word was God. How does the agency model read that?
Well, the Greek is crucial here. God, theos in that last phrase, doesn't have the definite article the. It's not the God like the Father often is in John.
Okay, so grammatically different. What's the significance?
It points towards a qualitative statement. The Word was God, in nature, in essence divine. But it doesn't necessarily equate him identically with the God, the Father, the ultimate principle.
A subtle but important difference.
It is. And remember, titles like Elohim or Theos could sometimes be applied to representatives in Hebrew thought judges, angels, Moses, not just the supreme being.
Right. And Hebrews chapter 1.
Hebrews 1.8-9 is another key one. The Son is addressed as God, thy throne, O God. But the very next verse clarifies the relationship. Therefore God, thy God, hath anointed thee.
Thy God.
Yes. The Son has a God over him. It clearly shows that hierarchy, principle, and agent. So, seeing God applied to the Son doesn't mean he is the Father, the ultimate source. It means he fully represents God's divine authority as the agent. It's about divine nature and function, not identical personhood with the principle.
Okay, I think I'm grasping that distinction. It's about sharing the divine quality and authority, but originating from the Father as the ultimate source.
You've got it. It differentiates divine quality from being the ultimate singular source, the Father.
So wrapping this up, how does this model help overall?
Well, the agency model, the shaliach framework, really offers a cohesive way to read these texts. It feels textually robust, historically grounded in Second Temple thought. It helps resolve some apparent tensions by highlighting this functional, hierarchical relationship.
Where the Son perfectly carries out the Father's will.
As his ultimate agent, it respects the oneness of God while fully honoring the Son's divine role and authority as the representative.
That really does give a lot to think about. So for you listening, here's a question to ponder. How does this understanding of divine agency and seeing the Son as the perfect shaliach maybe change how you perceive God's interaction with the world? Think about the implications of this principal-agent dynamic for God's purpose and his action in history. Something to definitely mull over.